I don't know that I have been this excited for a news episode in a very long time.
I thought you were excited about the last one we did. Well, not the last one, the one before it where we had our wish list. You're pretty excited about that one.
I was excited for that, and then the last one wasn't necessarily excitement as much. I mean, it was excitement, but it was also just like anticipation.
It wasn't what we were expecting, so it didn't meet the same level.
Mm-hmm. And just a little bit of water here to,
Maybe it's fair to say you haven't been this excited about actual news.
About the individual news topics.
Yeah.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals, this is the news. Hello and welcome to the Movie Men Podcast.
The B-Team.
That's Carl.
And that's Brady.
And as alluded to it by saying it directly, we are doing another news episode. And boy, oh boy, are there some juicy bones to pick the meat off today.
Mm-hmm.
Cannot wait.
I'm looking at our little, I don't know if we can call it, these are our show bullet points.
They're show notes. Yeah, they're show notes.
They're show notes, but they're bullet points. It's just a list of bullet points about what we're talking about.
It's kind of the show notes I send you are kind of like a do your own adventure thing. Your mission, should you check?
There is one thing on here that when you sent it, I was like, the hell is this? I don't even know what is this about? I don't understand it. And I watched the trailer and I was like, okay, what the hell is this?
Okay, so let's dive into it then. So Carl and I are here in Canada, and up here in Canada, our like main go-to movie theater chain that's like bigger than all the others is Cineplex. But that's not true down in the States, right? Down in Canada's pants. Oh, that was not that. That sounded weird. Canada's shoes?
No, they're pants.
They're pants.
In Florida's
As the what?
I'm not going to say it. This is a family-friendly show.
Canada's dirty underwear? Is that?
No, Florida's the...
Okay, yep. Okay, moving on. Cineplex is not the go-to, mainly because it doesn't exist there. But yeah, you've got Regal Cinemas, you've got others... But one of the big ones is AMC, and AMC is not a name to be trifled with. AMC was founded in 1920. It's 103 years old. That's an old movie theater chain, y'all. Yeah. And for the longest time, AMC was the best of the best. And in many ways, like if you're going for seat comfort and just sort of the general aesthetic of the buildings, like the spectacle that they create, and sound and image quality, many would say that AMC is still in the States the best of the best. However, AMC for like the last 10, 15 years has just seemed to have this policy of screwing the customer over at every turn they possibly can, whether it be different subscription services that they offer to their movie theater or price hikes or whatever it is. They just seem to have lost sight of what their business is and who it like the fact that it is your movie-going audience that is paying the bills, that's keeping the lights on.
Like we see a little bit of that, I think, too, with our Cineplexes up here. And
and no theater chain is perfect for sure. So we are gonna. This piece of news has to do specifically with AMC Theaters, which is not a Canadian chain, so it doesn't affect us here at home. But the reason why I wanted to talk about it is toofold. One is, We have a lot of non-Canadian listeners. Secondly, sometimes when one business within an industry makes a move, others start to follow. So this is something that could come to affect us eventually. So AMC theaters, this is something that many have speculated for a while might be a boneheaded move of AMC theaters, and it looks like now it is finally happening. So gone are the days where you used to line up to go see a movie, right? If you're buying tickets at any of the major chain movie theaters, you have pre-selected seating. You're going online or on your app well in advance. You're choosing your tickets, and you're selecting the seats you're going to sit in. Well, AMC theaters have decided that some seats in their theater are worth different value amounts. And certainly that's true, right? Like, I would agree to an extent. If you show up at the movies and the theaters, or you go to buy tickets and the theater's completely packed and you have to go in the neck breaker seats right at the front, you're not getting the same value for your ticket that you are if you're sort of mid.
Been there, it's not fun.
If you're sort of middle of the theater, or somewhere in around there. So what AMC Theaters is now doing is they have 3 ticket tiers. You have your what's called value seats, and those are going to be the seats that are not super great. Like, those are your neck breaker seats. Those are the seats that are maybe like up in the far back in the corner, right? Or wherever. They're seats where you don't either have a great seating, like, comfort position, or your sight line is not super on point. And they're calling those their value seats. And what they're doing is they're knocking, we don't know for sure yet, but let's assume it's going to be probably about $1. They're going to knock about $1 off of the regular ticket price. Okay? So that's so far, what's the issue? Okay, all right. That seems quite reasonable. Then they have their like standard seat or something. I can't remember, but like the middle tier seat. And those seats are going to be the same price that their movie ticket seats are currently. And those are going to be, sort of maybe center in the back, center a little closer to the front than you would like, maybe center of the movie theater, but like off to either side type of thing, right? And so those are going to be your regular, where it's still a great seat. Like, there's nothing wrong with that seat whatsoever. You can see it. You're not straining your neck. You're not blah, blah, blah. But you're not direct on. You're not in like a prime, look at the seats we got kind of seats. Then they have their premium seat, or whatever they're going to call their top tier seat. And these are going to be, these are your go-tos. Center of the theater, maybe dead center of the theater, or center and a little bit forward, or center and a little bit back, depending on your preference. My preference for that changes. Like, if it's a 3D movie, I want to be sitting a little further back. If it's not, yada, yada. And these tickets are going to be a little more expensive than the standard ticket used to be. And I'm guessing, although the value ticket is seeing like a $1 discount, I'm guessing you can expect probably a $2 price hike for these premium seats. So make no mistake, this is a money-making scheme. This is something that will make more money for the movie theater. This is not throwing a bone to customers to offer them a cheaper seating thing. That cheaper bracket, which is going to be, because it's not going to be an even divide either. Right? Like, of the seats that are considered the value seats, there will be the fewest number of those in the theater.
Yeah. Well, I think this is obviously that, like, corporate trying to get as much money out of people as they can get. But at the same time, I think this kind of particular model is also beneficial to the consumer, So now when you buy seats, even in Canada, right, to the big theaters, you have to pick your seat. You pay the same price no matter what. But you have to pick your seat when you buy your ticket at most of these big theaters now, right? I'm not wrong in that. At least we do it on sound.
Yeah, you pick your seat.
Yeah. So let's say you get your ticket late and all those prime seats are gone, and now you have to sit right up in front of the screen, but you're paying the same price as everyone else. That, so there is some value in that for the consumer as well.
Sure.
In this particular model.
For the poor planner,
right now.
For the poor planner,
yeah,
sure, you're going to save $1.
Yeah.
But for the average moviegoer who is already upset at the price of movie tickets and doesn't want to pay an additional, doesn't want their movie ticket to go from $13 up to $15 just so that they can sit in the seat that they've always sat in. I don't know. It's bizarre. And I heard someone online was saying, well, what's the big deal? Because like they do this at concerts. They do this at sporting events. Like that's just you pay a lot more for the better seats. Yeah. And but you know what? There's a really big difference. There is a really big difference between me sitting at the back or in there's a big difference between me sitting in the back corner of a movie theater where we're all looking at a screen versus me sitting in the back corner as opposed to right up front center at AC/DC concert. Yeah. You're actually closer to AC/DC by paying more.
My other thought on this is like, so I don't go to the theater as often as I used to, mostly because of the prices, and then also because family life doesn't allow it as often. But anytime I have gone and, I buy my ticket, I pick my seat, I go in, nobody comes and checks to make sure I'm sitting in the right seat.
No, never.
So if I'm like, especially if I'm going and the theater is empty, there's just 10 of us in a theater that seats 30 or 40. And I know that's what the theater is going to be like, because this is the last week the theater has been going to be in the theater. Last week the movie's going to be in the theater. Sorry, and it's not like a blockbuster film to begin with. I'm going to buy the cheapest seat, and then I'm just going to move when just before the movie starts.
Yeah,
or I'm going to go there anyway because nobody's going to come and check.
And we've all, I'm pretty sure we've all seat hopped in relatively empty theaters, right? The show's about to start. No one else is showing up. Hey, there's actually, if we all shift 3 seats to the left, we'll be much more center. Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I hope this doesn't come to Canada or to Cineplex, just because, again, like, it's at the end of the day, this wasn't a decision made to this was a decision made to make more money.
Yeah.
As opposed to in a time where, theaters have just by the skin of their ass survived the pandemic.
Yeah.
And they're still in the process of trying to get people back into theaters to try to regain those numbers that they used to have. This isn't focusing on how can we make more money. You make more money by getting more people coming to the theater. Right. That's how you do it. And you don't get more people coming to the theater by taking some of the seats that people already normally sit in and jacking the price.
Yeah, when you focus on the dollar alone, you alienate your consumers. Yeah. And I think, if they continue this direction, it's obviously the opposite direction they should go. The direction they should go is the direction that Japan theaters have been going and have been in for a long time. I don't know. Do you know much about Japan theaters?
I'm about to.
Pardon?
I'm about to.
So in Japan, going to the theater isn't going to see a movie. It's not something that they do frequently as a culture. So it's when you do go, the theaters are an experience. It's like you go. the options for food and drink are enormous. The hospitality of the staff is extremely generous. A lot of times they'll have like little giveaways or perks or you get something, you walk home with something, like not something you buy, not like in Canada at the Cineplex theaters, you can upgrade your drink to the ginormous one and you get a little cool toy topper on your drink that you're going to forget about in a week and end up in the garbage or behind some
which you pay big money for.
See again. That's quote unquote collectible, but everybody's got one. So how collectible is it?
I mean, I'm looking at one right now.
Yeah. Well, some of them are cool, but I mean, it's just cheap plastic, right?
It is.
But you pay for it. You have to upgrade your drink. Like the things that I'm saying that Japanese theaters give away is like, it's all included in your ticket.
Yeah.
Right. So it's all about an experience. Like it's all about making the consumer feel like I'm getting something out of this. They're really treating me to a movie going experience, not oh, you paid for the ticket just for the movie. Now you got to pay for everything else, you know? So it's, yeah, like that would be a much better direction to go. Then people will want to go more. Then people will want to spend that $40 for a date night to the theater again. Like right now, for me to go, hey, wife, it's Valentine's Day. Let's go to the theater, which is a horrible date night, really. But at this point in my life, but it's a lot of money. Like that $40 could be spent on that's half of a really nice meal at a really nice restaurant. So
it is. I mean, it depends. That. Like, here's the thing. Yes, theaters have gotten more and more expensive to go out to. However, let's say two of you go out, right? You each buy a tickets. Let's say they're $15 each, right? Which I think is actually rounding up for our theaters a little bit. But let's say they're $15 each, just for easy math. So that's $30 for your movie tickets. Now let's say you drop $20 at concession, which is not hard to do. You can do that, but also quick. You can come in under, like if you're just getting a large popcorn to share and you each get a drink, you're probably looking at like $15, $16, right? So let's say you're $45 to $50 for a night at the movie. It's still pretty much the cheapest date night it is still
to go to like value. A fancy restaurant, you're gonna pay more.
Yes,
but if I go to a fancy restaurant, I feel like I'm gonna get more out of it as well.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like a Japanese theater viewing experience compared to a North American one is the what you get out of it is not just a movie. You get an experience. You get a good time, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not just the movie when you go to a theater in Japan.
Yeah, we went out for dinner. We did like a Valentine's Day thing the other night, and we went out to the Keg, right? Which is not. I get the Keg's like on the higher end of whatever.
Yeah.
But we did that. We had I had made some tip money at work and we had some cash from Christmas and stuff like that. So that we had kind of like set aside for treating ourselves. Mm-hmm. Dinner was like $175. Yeah. Like it was like, okay, all right, well,
and that's the, and then there's that's the other thing too, right? Like if you're going to the movies, are you going to dinner first or are you having dinner at the theater? Because either way, you're paying a lot of money for going out to eat too, with the theater experience on top of it. So or in North America with the, kind of the view, or at least in Canada here, like if I had to choose between going to the movies and having a cheap dinner or going to a really nice restaurant with my wife, I'm going to the nice restaurant. Like hands down. I'll go to the theater by myself, or I'll go to my local cheap theater here in town.
I mean, and obviously not everyone's going to agree with that. Like, that's,
no,
you know.
But that's,
anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on. So a while back, we got news that Constantine 2, a sequel to the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, was in the works, was in development. And then things were quiet for quite a while. And Constantine's one of those characters that has not gotten a lot of screen attention, right? So we had Keanu Reeves's Constantine, and then we had the CW's, right? Like there was 1 or 2 seasons of a Constantine show, and then Constantine was a reoccurring character on the Legends of Tomorrow show, which I really liked that version, right? I have a lot of issues with the CW DC stuff. There are a lot of things that I do like, and the Constantine in that universe was one of the things I liked for sure. But things have been quiet for a while. And then with all of the shakeups that we got with the DC universe and James Gunn and Peter Safran and what's happening and what isn't happening, rumors started to circle that movie was dead in the water. That kind of made sense, right? It's kind of like, okay, you know, DC's coming in, or James Gunn, the new leadership is coming in. Anything that was already made or pretty much like was made and is pretty much done, with exception of the Batgirl movie, we're going to release because it's done. It's, you know, it's done. We think they're good projects. We've found a way to tie it all in. So we're going to do it. But it kind of made sense also that like anything that, you know, was just sort of a couple of ideas and some sticky notes up on a whiteboard, well, yeah, we're gonna sit on that for now because we have different plans. Well, it turns out them's still the plans. It's been confirmed by James Gunn that the Constantine movie is still in development. This raises a lot of interesting questions for me. Mainly being, is this like, does that mean that Keanu Reeves as Constantine is going to be canon to the DCU? Is this going to be an Elseworld story like Matt Reeves' Batman and Todd Phillips' Joker? But what does this mean? Either way, this is something I'm excited for. I think the first one's great, kind of underrated, or at least has just kind of like fallen to the wayside. Like a lot of people don't even remember that was a movie or even know, right? Like Constantine's one of those properties that you could go watch Constantine and not realize, oh, that was a comic book movie. It's like a DC unit. Like this guy exists in the same world as like Superman and Batman exists. But so anyways, I'm excited for this. What are your thoughts? And do you predict this is going to be part of the DCU proper, or is this going to get its own standalone, off on its own treatment?
I mean, I didn't even realize this was going to be a thing till I see these show notes.
Okay, well, what do you
thoughts? It wasn't part of James Gunn's announcement. Why wasn't it in the announcement? If this is a Warner Brothers thing that's happening and is in development,
I don't know.
Where's that announcement? Why wasn't this here? Like, this seems like big news. So that makes me think it's not part of DCU proper.
Right.
As far as Keanu Reeves, Constantine, his first movie, I think it was all right. I think he did a pretty decent job at playing Constantine. I think there are better. I like Keanu Reeves as an actor. I think there are better actors for the role.
Yeah, quite possibly. I hope they cut his hair.
I'm not overly excited about it, but yeah,
I'm sick of long-haired Keanu.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Well, in the first Constantine, this might require him to cut his hair because in his first Constantine movie, he had a shorter haircut.
Well, but I mean,
similar to what Constantine
in the
has
newest Matrix movie, we had long-haired Neo. So I don't. Yeah. I mean, that doesn't mean.
But anyway, yeah, I think there are better people for the role. I think it's probably going to be an elsewhere. Is that the term that Gunn used?
Elseworlds.
Elseworld. Yeah. An Elseworld story. Kind of. I don't think it's necessary. I'll probably watch it. I'll probably enjoy it as long as it's well made. I mean, I enjoyed the first one well enough. So
I have no doubt that this one will be better. Like, you have to keep in mind that Constantine was a comic book film that came out in 2005. So you kind of have to hold it to what were the comic book movies that we were getting in the 2005 era.
Spider-Man's, X-Men's.
Yeah. And as far as like a Constantine goes, like if you compare the first Spider-Man to the type of comic book movies that we're getting now, like the first Spider-Man holds up because it's got amazing nostalgia and we all love it and blah, blah, blah. But it's got a certain campiness. It's got a certain not super groundedness. It's got like a bright vibrantness to it that is consistent with that time, right?
Yeah.
So like even in 2004, the first Hellboy, which I love that movie. I think that's a fantastic movie. But it is also
killed it.
It is also very 2000s comic book movie. Like it's not if they made a new. I know the David Harbour one. I wouldn't say
the first Constantine fell into that category though. I think it would be more closer to the way Blade was filmed than in terms of the color palette and the
color.
And the tone of the film.
That's fair.
It's a little darker. It's not like it's because you're dealing with angels and demons and witchcraft and sorcery and all that stuff, and they very much kind of make it's a darker film. It's on my I actually have it's on Netflix. It's on my watch list. I want to watch it again before I found this film. This film was kind of in development. Like it's something I've wanted to rewatch because I did enjoy the first one well enough.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of more interested in watching that first one again now.
Do you know Ghost Rider came out in 2007? And a year later, we launched the MCU. It's just like, that was a film. I have nostalgia for I'm sure, I haven't seen it in a long time. And I'm sure if I go back and watch it, it's not that great. But I have nostalgia for the first Ghost Rider, just because it was a movie I watched when I was young. But yeah, that thing was like dead in the water with what was right around the corner, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but the second one didn't do it any favors either.
No, and I get what you because it was like, is it a sequel? Is it not a sequel? Like they just kind of through their own continuity.
The first one did a pretty good job, and the second one they just kind of made some really weird choices.
Yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying, and it's not a rule of thumb for sure for comic book films, because another one, if you take the Thomas Jane Punisher, right. But I mean, Punisher is a film that, much like Blade, you can't. There's no way to do it campy, right? There's no way to do a Punisher in the same vein as like the Fantastic Four films that came out.
That's Thomas Jane's Punisher deserved a sequel too. That was
so good,
such a good.
Yeah, as opposed
there's a lot of people that don't like Tom Jane as Punisher, but I thought it was great.
Here's a question, and I'm sure I've looked this up before, and if it is, it's a really, really poor. Hang on, I just want to read. Is a reboot? Okay, yeah. I did not like Warzone. I thought like Warzone, I got was more comic accurate in a lot of ways. Like
it was a lot darker too.
It was a lot darker, but it just like, I wanted a sequel. Right? Yeah, it had Microchip in it, and it had.
There is a bit of a sequel to it.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know if you've ever seen it, but there's like a Tom Jane and somebody else. I think it was during like the writer's strike or something. They did like this little short
thing
where Thomas Jane, and I don't think he's like officially the Punisher, quote unquote, in this short,
right?
But like. He's the Punisher. He's got like a black van, and it's called like Laundry Day or something like that. And he beats up a bad guy and saves a person in need. And
you know what? And this is it's certainly an anomaly. It's they're kind of, in some bizarre way, there kind of is a sequel in probably one of the very few good video games based on a movie property, because the Punisher, the Thomas Jane Punisher video game was super solid. Really and serves as could be a sequel.
It is I googled it really quickly here. The first video that pops up here in a Google search is July 16th, 2012, and it is titled The Punisher Dirty Laundry.
Right. There you go. Tom so he's playing Frank. Punisher. Yeah. Cool. All right, so moving on. We have listen, a little while back you and I were talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and where we were going to go with Spider-Man properties moving forward.
The opportunities.
We talked about how some of those, like you sort of speculated that maybe we would see sort of a live action multiverse movie where some of the characters from Spider-Verse would get sucked into live action and so on and so forth. And I thought, oh, you know what? That'd be really cool. I kind of had I still have my doubts that something exactly like that will happen. But we have now gotten word that there is a Spider-Man noir franchise series coming to Amazon.
Nicolas Cage better damn well be Spider-Man noir too.
So this isn't super surprising.
I will boycott this film if he's not.
It's a series, but
I'll make a petition and we'll send it off.
It's not super surprising that this deal is happening because Amazon is already working on a Silk series, and Amazon has said that this Silk series is one of their top priorities. Like they're really going serious about this. So it looks like Sony is going to continue to allow Amazon to sort of build and flesh out the live action Spider-Verse, at least as far as like television series go. So it's what we know about it is that it's set in the 1920s, and that it is sort of like a detective-y kind of whatever, that it's not a Peter Parker story, that this is a different Spider-Man. And you know what? We don't know anything about the role. We don't know anything specifically about the character. We don't know if this is sort of a direct tie-in to the Spider-Man noir that we got from the Into the Spider-Verse, or if this is just sort of its own kind of thing. But if it is a tie-in, like if it's a 60, like, you could have, if they're going for like an older style Spider-Man who's been at this a while, he was a cop and now he's a detective and he, so on and so forth. I think Nick Cage would be like amazing in this role.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I just had this crazy thought. So it's, if anybody's hasn't seen comics or Into the Spider-Verse or anything, Spider-Man noir is always depicted in kind of like as a black and white kind of universe, like the images or the live action or not live action, but the animation is always black and white, like a black and white film.
I think you're about to say exactly where I was going next. So continue. I'm so intrigued.
I hope they do this almost exactly the way Sin City was done.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Or minus the colors, like the odd vibrant color, like just like the weird views on the city, and when people are driving, like there's this kind of as a noir film, Sin City is so good.
Yeah.
And that it kind of like I can just see Spider-Man's I don't even know if Spider-Man noir swings, does he? Does he have webbing? I feel like he doesn't.
I tend to think no.
Anyway.
I kind of think no.
I don't know enough about Spider-Man noir. I just know that as a visual, it's always black and white, and he's a detective-y kind of Spider-Man. And yeah, I think that would
like
be,
he uses guns and
yeah, that would be really cool if they had like this whole Sin City ambiance in the film.
Yeah, like he wears a trench coat and boots. And like,
yeah.
No, even the movie The Spirit, which was not a super great film, but it still had that kind of like, because it's made by why am I gapping? Anyways, it's done very much in the same kind of weird visual aesthetic as Sin City is. So I think that's definitely the way to go. Definitely the way to go. And you do that and you stick Nick Cage behind the mask. I mean, come on. That's a recipe for Frank Miller. Frank Miller's the director. That's what. And here's the thing. That's who you got to get. I mean, you don't have to. But can you imagine Frank Miller directing a Spider-Man noir series?
Yeah. Oh man.
Like,
it'd be so good.
Okay. Moving on. So, Disney. We talked a while ago now, about some of the shakeups that happened over at Disney with Bob Chapek getting the boot, and the one, the only, the phenomenal Bob Iger returning as acting CEO of Disney. And we knew that a lot of things were going to change. One of the things that have changed, we're not going to dwell on this much, but one of the things that have changed for the better, and because this was something that I brought up initially, was that Bob Chapek had like hired all of his golf buddies to like work in these high positions above Kevin Feige and above like all these other, like, just basically took so much of the creative ability out of the hands of the creators, right? Basically said to Kevin Feige,
I just wasn't interested.
Yeah, basically said to Kevin Feige, like, you know, you can make a movie, but you don't get to choose whether that's going to go to theaters or if we're going to stick it on Disney Plus, which is absurd. Absolutely absurd. So one of the things that has happened is they have recently announced sort of a company restructuring. And in that company restructuring they're cutting 7,000 jobs, just superfluous stuff, people who are in like micromanaging positions and you know, and the like, trimming the fat. And something like $5 billion a year they're saving in doing this. Like it's a good chunk of change. So something else that has happened is we've gotten some big films announced. Some films that some of them I'm looking at going, okay, let's talk about this. And others I'm looking at and going, what took you so long? Like if you look at the success of they're all sequels, they're all follow-ups, by the way. And if you look at the success of the ones that came prior, you look at the value of the IPs you're sitting on, what the hell took you so long? Like, why was this such a slow burn? Okay, so the first one up is Zootopia 2. Listen, I've seen Zootopia a couple of times, and I think it's cute. I think it's charming. We all love the sloth scene.
Mm-hmm. Very memeable.
But it's just like Zootopia has never grabbed me the way that like other people seem to be enamored with this film. And I get it. It's, you know, it's good. It's fine. It's, you know, whatever. It wasn't my thing so much. But the first Zootopia, which came out in 2016, currently has a 98% critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a 92% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And it made $1.025 billion with a B, dollars at the box office. An animated film that was not a sequel, had no pre-existing IP, made just over $1 billion at the box office. And here, 7 years later, I'm saying, what took you so long? Like, what? Yeah. Why was this such a, and it's not a nobody cast either, right? You've got Jason Bateman in it. You've got, what's her name? Jennifer Goodwin, who is known for, she was in Walk the Line. She played Snow White in the Once Upon a Time television series. Idris Elba was in it. J.K. Simmons. You've got Shakira in it. So,
yeah.
Zootopia 2, is it yay or nay? Does this make sense to you? Is this something that you're looking forward to? Talk to me.
I guess I'm interested. I don't know. Maybe I'm of an older era that doesn't really care about animated sequels because we grew up where animated sequels were horrible.
Not all of them, but a lot.
90%. Like, and this is kind of a segue to one of the other titles, but I kind of blame probably Toy Story for this. But prior to Toy Story, most sequels to animated flicks were bad, or just direct to DVD, or not DVD, direct to VHS at the time.
I think that's important. Is that you're talking about a bunch of sequels that
I'm
were
talking about Aladdin
made.
2 or
right. So these are sequels. Hang on, these
Little
are
Mermaid
sequels.
2. Nobody
hang on.
These.
I
don't know anybody that watched these.
These are sequels that were made directly for straight to home video. They were not sequels that had. And
usually they weren't that great compared to the original.
Well, no, they had next to no budget,
and it was just cash grab, easy money.
Yeah.
And so I don't. This isn't to me. This isn't getting hyped up for the next Marvel film because it's reading into a larger narrative. It's the first Zootopia had a nice happy ending, kind of wrapped things up with a nice pretty bow. There are some, you could have some unanswered questions like what do they do now and what's next for these characters and what happened to the sloth. There are questions that can be answered, but I mean that doesn't mean you need to make another film. So on one part of me is just why? It's just you're just wrecking. What's the point? And the other half understands that it is easy money for Disney. It's a sure bet that you're going to get ticket sales because it's a beloved property.
Show business.
Yeah,
show business.
So and then kind of with that other part, part of me is curious, and I might end up watching it. But
yeah, and I mean,
that first part of me is pretty strongly going, why?
A movie, but you know what? A movie being tied up with a bow doesn't, the first Toy Story doesn't ask for a sequel.
No, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying I think Toy Story
is the exception.
Toy Story is to blame for these sequels, these the theater level sequels instead of direct to DVD sequels.
Oh, okay. But the theater level sequels historically have been better than
far better
direct to video.
Yeah, far better.
Okay. So
prior to that, instead of making a Mermaid 2 better quality, they looked to make an Aladdin. And then after Aladdin, instead of making Aladdin 2 high quality to go to theaters, they looked to make Tangled and Princess and the Frog, and you know what I mean. Let's do something new and fresh and fun,
right?
Instead of let's revisit these old characters whose story has essentially been told. We're just kind of pulling at whatever's left of the story that we can possibly tell, right? So, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Part of me is excited. Part of me is.
Next up,
that'll go for all of these. Zootopia is probably, out of all of these, is the one I'd be most interested in.
Oh, interesting. See, I'm the opposite. And it's the one that I'm, that from a number standpoint, I can look at and I can go, yes, like this makes lots of sense. Go ahead and make it. But I'm also like, okay.
For me, it's a numbers aspect in that it's 2 instead of the 3rd or the 5th.
Right. Okay. So next up, we have Frozen 3. Now, right. Frozen is still the cultural and pop zeitgeist impact that Frozen has had, right? Like to this day, Halloween comes around and 20% of the girls walking up and down the street are dressed up either as Elsa or Anna. Like it has had legs like almost nothing has had legs before. The first Frozen movie.
It's this generation's Toy Story.
The first Frozen movie has a 90 and 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. It made $1.28 billion. The second Frozen movie has a 77 and a 92. So 92, the audience still really loved it. And that shows because it made a $1.45 billion. So you have an animated series that only has 2 entries and has made the company almost $3 billion. Yep. Yeah. That's it's time to do another one
because of those toy and dress up sales.
It's time to do another one. And also, again, this one came out in the second one came out in 2019. What took you so long? Like, why were you sitting on this? Why, if it's, even if you make a third one, and it doesn't crack $1 billion, it makes $800 million. That's $800 million. There is zero film that looks at $800 million as a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
Like, that's that. Even MCU films are happy with. Now, there's a couple of exceptions, right? Like if the next big Avengers come out and it makes $800 million, they'll be like, oh, that's not as much as we were expecting. But I'm telling you right now, when Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania drops, which is they're chalking this thing up to be a really big film, right? Or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is right around the corner.
Yeah.
It may crack $1 billion. It may not crack $1 billion. If it makes $800 million, we're cracking champagne. We're lighting cigars.
A lot of cheddar.
Like that's amazing.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? Frozen. Listen, the first Frozen I think is actually really good and cute. That song, the whole "Let It Go" song, which became
everybody
kind
heard it,
of
whether you've seen the film or not.
Yeah, it became a little irritating after a while. But you know what? From a marketing standpoint,
just
that
let
song
it go,
was
Brady.
From a marketing standpoint, that song was brilliant.
Yeah.
Like that song was genius.
Yeah.
And then the second one came out.
Took that and they ran all the way to the bank.
Exactly. The second one came out. There was another song in there. I can't remember. I've only seen the second one once. But it was probably just as good of a song as the first one, as Let It Go from the first one. Mm-hmm. And yeah, this is a strong franchise. It's kind of Disney's like little golden egg right now. Have you seen? I mean, you have a daughter. I'm assuming you've seen both Frozen films.
So I'm going to blow your mind a little bit here. I haven't seen any of the Frozen films.
Really?
No.
Oh, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I'm saying that from like I think they're overrated just because I'm not I'm just not the right demographic for it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't even think
they are something.
I don't even think my daughter has seen them.
Really?
Because,
you're a bad parent.
I've mentioned before that she's pretty sensitive when it comes to scary material. And when I say sensitive, I mean if it's just somebody on screen talking about something scary, she wants to turn it off. Now she's 10 now, so she's grown out of that quite substantially. Like we watched the movie Inkheart this past Friday.
Okay, yeah, it's got some.
I'd never seen it before. Great film.
Yeah, it's good.
And there's some pretty freaky parts in that film, and she didn't like wince. I didn't hear her kind of get scared at all.
It should have had a sequel.
So she's does it have a sequel?
No, it should have.
That doesn't need a sequel. This will be a running theme for this part of the thing is, I think it's well known that I'm not a huge sequel guy or remake guy.
Some of the best movies are sequels, man. Some of the best movies.
Yeah.
And movies that didn't ask for a sequel.
I don't think she saw it either, mainly because of that. But yeah, some of the best movies are sequels. I will give you that.
Star Wars was not begging for a sequel.
It's true. George Lucas always intended it to be a trilogy, though.
Well, sure.
Right? You can't tell me that the people who wrote Frozen, who wrote Zootopia, who wrote all the other Disney animated properties, when they sat down and wrote it, they were thinking, hey man, this is going to make a great movie for a anthology of films.
Agreed.
Like that's not where their mindset was at. They set out to make a singular good story.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And in my mind, when it comes to animated films like this, that's all they should be. Wreck-It Ralph didn't need a sequel. The sequel was not as good as the first one by a long stretch. Like, I just make something new, right? Like, Disney has got talent coming out of its butthole, and they wasted on making sequels, in my opinion.
Okay, but here's the thing. Whenever someone says like, oh, there's nothing original in Hollywood anymore, people say that as if there isn't original movies coming out every other week. And there is, but they're also making sequels because sequels is smart business.
It's a sure bet. It's a potential sure bet.
If you set up a lemonade stand this weekend and you make $600 in the course of 4 hours, right? Yeah, you don't go, well,
I'm going to sell lollipops next week.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it because I want to be original. No, you're getting your ass out there. You're buying twice the amount of lemons.
I understand that from a business aspect, right? I completely understand their business decisions. But from a creative aspect, from my own personal like interest in seeing unique individual stories or different takes on old stories at like Aladdin or Little Mermaid or whatever, like these old fairy tales, right? Like I would much rather see a new story than Zootopia 2, Frozen 2, 3. You know, like they've got just as many unique stories as they do sequels, and the unique stories I think are hands down always better. Up, The Incredibles. What's the one with the robot?
Wall-E.
Right? Like these are incredible films.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Right? And I'd be much more interested in seeing a new incredible film property than going to see any of these sequels.
Okay.
That's just where my personal tastes are at.
Yep. No.
Right. And like I said, I completely understand the business decision. It's an easy paycheck for Disney, especially if they put the time and effort into making it done well, like Frozen 2 did. Apparently, I haven't seen it. Wreck-It Ralph 2 is not nearly as good as the first one. I think hands down the first one is far and above better, but the second one is still good. Like them surfing around the internet is a great time. So like I get it from a business standpoint. I would just prefer something different.
Sure.
and new.
All right. So moving on. This is a hot one. Toy Story 5.
4. What?
5. Well, yeah. Pete and I reviewed. I've made it no secret. I have not been discreet at all about the issues that I took with Toy Story 4.
I haven't seen it because I listened to the podcast first.
Yeah.
I was bothered.
We're gonna double feature. I'll come over. We'll watch Suicide Squad. Well, actually, first we'll watch Toy Story 4, then we'll watch Suicide Squad, so we can end on a happy,
end on a high note.
High note. Listen. So I'm gonna spoil it because it's been out for a while, and blah blah blah. Toy Story 4 basically, the way Toy Story 3 ends. Which, by the way, okay, first of all let's talk about Toy Story. Okay, so Toy Story comes out. It breaks the world basically because it's the first full-length computer-generated film. It's fantastic. It's fun.
Pixar cuts their teeth really well.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Yeah.
And they end it with really no need for a sequel.
Yep.
Toy Story 2 comes out. Toy Story 2 is a great movie. Like, Toy Story 2 is every bit as good, if not better, than the first Toy Story, in my opinion.
That's why I'm saying I blame Toy Story 2 for all this.
Right. So then Toy Story, then we find out a number of years later that Toy Story 3 is coming. And I think there was some excitement, but there was also some, I don't know, like the second one is so good. And can you really get lucky 3 times in a row? Can you have that amount of success, that amount of
Can you actually
quality?
make a trilogy out of something that was never meant to be a trilogy?
Yeah. Toy Story 3 is, in my opinion, one of the greatest animated films. Like, it is, you're crying and you're laughing and it is just heart-wrenching at times. It is so phenomenal. And there were doubters. Lots of people doubted. People were like, Toy Story 3, I don't know. And the naysayers were silenced because Toy Story 3 was incredible. And really, whereas the other two didn't ask for a sequel, Toy Story 3 really felt like it put a stamp on the envelope. It was like, it was this beautiful little bow. It was this perfect ending. And yeah, it gave the closure we didn't know we needed. Like, it was just this really nice conclusion.
Yeah.
And then they said Toy Story 4 was coming. Now, look, I was like, even at that point, I was like, okay, you ended it so nicely. Like, it had a really nice ending. There's films that aren't asking for sequels, but then there's films that, like, ended so perfect that it almost does an injustice to continue it.
Yeah.
Toy Story 4 came out. Now, Toy Story 4, clearly, it was still a smart decision because Toy Story 4 made just over $1 billion, right? It's $1 billion film. Okay. So that's right there. That's good business. It has a 97 and a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what people are smoking, but that's fine. If you liked Toy Story 4, I could not be happier for you. I envy you. I wish I could find the same enjoyment. There are some really great moments. There are moments that I do enjoy from Toy Story 4. I disagree with other people when it comes to the appropriateness, the true to the characterness of sort of Woody's story arc in this, that he decides, you know what, I don't want to be someone's toy anymore. I'm going to become a lost toy, and I'm going to help other toys find their owner,
forever
right?
home.
And I get that, right? That, like, it's still kind of in line with, like, you know, Woody, like, his whole big thing has been, we are toys. Our job is to make kids happy. That is our, he has been the spokesperson of that. And so there is something poetic about him sacrifice, that they're with Bonnie now because Andy's gone off to college. And I think, deep down, he kind of he's never felt like Bonnie's toy. Right, he was Andy's toy, Mrs. Andy, right. And so if he can't have Andy, then he can help other toys. Toy. Yeah, he can help other toys find their Andy, and I kind of get it. I do. I see how that's sort of in line with who Woody is, but it didn't work for me. My biggest beef with it was they completely sidelined and dumbed down and idiofied. That's a word I'm creating. No, Buzz.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the spork.
No, Buzz. The spork is hilarious. He's one of the best redeeming qualities of the film. Buzz is a bumbling idiot in this film. Like, Buzz is straight up stupid. He doesn't he's hardly in the film, and when he is in the film, he's like,
he kind of regressed as a character.
He's like completely spaced out and isn't useful in any way whatsoever, and he's kind of having like this existential crisis about basically his whole arc in the film is that when he presses the buttons on his chest and it goes like, it's an uncharted mission and whatever, that's like his inner voice, and he's got to listen to his inner voice, and it's just like stupid. He starts like pushing those buttons to listen to his inner voice while there's people around, and it's causing an issue, and it's just like, what? Why is Buzz an idiot all of his? So but anyways.
Yeah, it sounds like a complete regression from all the progress he's made in character growth.
Yeah, when Pete and I reviewed Toy Story 4, I wrote, off the cuff during the review, I wrote what I think would have been a better Toy Story 4. The only thing that I thought was like, okay, this I would buy. This I would buy as the extra bow on top of the bow. And it's dark and it's a little morbid, and so like I get why maybe this wasn't the route they went, because they want to still keep it like super kid friendly and stuff. But my idea, if you'll humor me,
sure,
is it's years later. Right, like it's 60 years have passed since Toy Story 3.
Is this like a post-apocalyptic story?
No. It's like 60 years. And somehow, I don't know, the people who are more creative than me could figure out how the plot device comes into play. But the toys catch wind of the fact that Andy is either in a hospital or he's in a long-term care. He's an old man. He's a very old man now. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't have a whole lot of time left. He's dying. And so the journey that they go on, there's sort of, like the adventure that they go on is traversing to find Andy. And the crux of the film, the climax, the end, the heart-wrenching moment is, they all find him, whatever, and Andy like looks over, and all of a sudden his toys are on the floor of the hospital room or whatever, and he doesn't understand why they're there, but he's like, oh, I haven't seen these things in 60 years, and Woody and Buzz and all this stuff, and the crux of the film, whether the toys are still lying there on the ground or they're out in the hall or like whatever happens, Woody reveals himself to Andy. Woody has a conversation with Andy. And I don't know how you'd have to write that in a way that it would like not seem tacky, that it would like all fit, but it's Pixar, so they could do it. They could write that in a way that would be heart-wrenching. But the film is just like Woody and Andy finally talking to each other. And Andy's crying, and Woody can't cry because he's a toy. But he's like, he's got the crying face, like he's got the depressed face, and it's like, oh, like even just talking about it now, I'm like, this would be so good. So good. So anyways, we're getting Toy Story 5, and I sent you the thing for it, and you said why? And I said, so that they can use time travel to retcon Toy Story 4. Make it so it didn't happen. No, I don't know. Listen, Toy Story 4, like when Toy Story 3 made just over $1 billion. Toy Story 4 made just over $1 billion. Yeah, it makes sense. You make another one. Like, I didn't like Toy Story 4, but clearly the majority of people did because it has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes with over 50,000 verified ratings. Okay, so people liked it. It made them a lot of money. So here's what you do with business. And as the fan, we have every right to be concerned. We have every right to go, no, please, just leave it, please. You make another one. And if, you know what, if it turns out fifth time was the charm and it doesn't work and nobody likes it and it doesn't make any money, then you're done.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? Like, if you don't want these sequels to be made, then you need to vote with your wallet, and you need to get other people to realize it's garbage and vote with their wallet. And like, do what I do. I'm not going to see it in theaters. I don't care how much hype it gets. I might not even watch it on until Brady forces me to watch it,
which will right? be in theaters when I say we have to review it. But it's neither here nor there.
You and Pete can go do that. I have no interest. Like,
but yeah,
I really don't. It's like,
it makes sense to me though. You know what? As much as I don't want them to make another one, if I'm Disney, if I'm Pixar, and I'm looking at these numbers, and
that's what they care about is the numbers.
Yeah, and you know what? Like,
so like I said, if you don't want these made, you got to vote with your wallet and not go and get other people to do the same. And in this last month, this is a tangent here. Like, the people who make D&D had this big uproar, and people started canceling their subscriptions to their D&D website, and they ended up kind of reversing every decision they made that month because people voted with their wallet.
Right.
Same thing's happening with Netflix right now. There's a big movement right now in Canada because of, we've talked about this previously, about the password sharing, and there are a lot of people that are pushing this to cancel Netflix subscriptions to try and get Netflix. Now, this is a bigger tangent than I thought. Free. Like, Netflix has every right to get you to not share your password,
and it's not going to work. Netflix is not going to.
Their implementation of this is horrid.
How so?
Well, even if I'm not sharing my password with anybody, I can't travel and use my Netflix account. I can't. They've made it not without jumping through absurd hoops.
Well, it just sends an email to your thing.
No. It takes a lot more than that. I've been watching some videos about people calling Netflix and asking them, like, what do I have to do? And they're making it harder than it should be. Like, right. I get not sharing passwords, but make it easy for people to still use their account.
I don't know. Why are you watching Netflix when you're traveling? Live in the moment.
Pardon?
I said, why are you watching Netflix when you're traveling? Live in the moment.
But you know what I'm like. Well, like maybe I'm on a road trip and I got my daughter using a device watching Netflix in the back of the car because I don't want to have to deal with her.
Yeah.
Right. Like, now I have to jump through hoops just so that I can use my own account that I'm paying for.
Well, the thing about the Netflix thing is the reason why everyone's so upset, like there are other subscription services like Apple TV that have been doing this since the beginning, and nobody's upset about it. It's just because so many people have been able to steal Netflix up until this point that now they're like, well, what the hell?
The big point I'm making though is, like, if you didn't like Toy Story 4, you think they're going to ruin Toy Story 5, don't see it. Vote with your wallet. If enough people do it, then they will look at the numbers and they'll go, oh crap, people don't like this. Let's stop making sequels and make original content.
Yeah. I don't see that happening. I think this film's going to do big bank.
Oh, not with this. No. Like, you're going to have huge movement of people to really make that kind of an impact. And you're not going to, it's going to be harder to do with a movie like this for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to get the world to boycott Toy Story 5.
Yeah, that's the only way you make change to make a large corporation make change is you hit them where it hurts.
Yeah. So I'm excited for Toy Story 5. I'm dubious as hell, but I think part of me is like, well, maybe instead of Toy Story 4 being an ending I wasn't happy with, it will be a blip on the map. It will be the one mediocre stepping stone towards another great film. So I think that's kind of my hope. I'm hoping it will sort of redeem my Toy Story canon.
It'll be a valley before the peak.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. So Deadpool 3. We've been talking about Deadpool 3 and Hugh Jackman's return. One of the biggest, literally, when it comes to movie news, or specifically comic book movie news, one of the most significant announcements, one of the most significant pieces of movie news that has happened maybe forever, but certainly in the last who knows how long, is Hugh Jackman's return as Wolverine, just simply because he was so adamant that he wasn't going to do it again, right? That he was done with it. And I was watching an interview with Hugh Jackman the other day, and someone was asking him, like, you've talked about how miserable the Wolverine diet and workout regimen is. Like, what is your plan? How big are you planning to get? Right? Like, how far are you going to go with it this time? And Hugh Jackman said, well, in every film we did, I was bigger than I had been ever before. And it would be a shame to break that trend. So Hugh Jackman is planning on getting more ripped. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
It's amazing. But so one of the things about Hugh Jackman's Wolverine character, if you look throughout all of the X-Men movies, one of his major plot points, one of the things that was like sort of a through story in all of those films was Logan's relationship with Professor X.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go. That's kind of how they set up the first X-Men was Charles
all the way through to Logan.
Yeah, Charles's ability to help Logan sort of discover and unpack his past, right? Charles was kind of taking care of Logan, and right through, and it kind of came full circle in Logan when Wolverine is taking care of an old and somewhat senile Professor X. And so questions started being asked, is if we're getting the return of Logan of Wolverine. And we just saw Professor X. We just saw Patrick Stewart as Professor X, a multiverse version, an Elseworlds version of him in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Could it be possible, because this film's taking place before the events of Logan, so Professor X, spoiler alert, is still alive at this point? Is it possible that we will see the return of Sir Patrick Stewart as Professor X? So he was asked in an interview, and Patrick Stewart said, I have been told to stand by, to be ready, to make sure that there's a gap available in my calendar. Now, this wasn't, he didn't flat out come out and say, yes, I'm in it. Of course I'm in it. But I think this is as much confirmation as you could possibly hope for on the mere fact that there are actors out there who maybe you say, we're thinking about using you. So if you can, maybe keep your calendar open, blah, 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 but we're not 100% sure. You don't tell Sir Patrick Stewart to keep his calendar open if you're not planning on using Sir Patrick Stewart in your film. So I think it's pretty much a given at this point that Professor X is going to show up in Deadpool 3, which I think is so fun and fitting and appropriate. I don't know. The question is this going to be a cameo? Is it going to be a minor supporting role? Is it going to be a major supporting role? Is this going to be, is he going to be very prominent in this film?
I think the only reason he would say that on TV and then not be in the film is if they paid him to do so. Create that ambiguity about what the film is going to be about and who's going to be in it,
But you know what? That would
Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. That's the
wrong
Spider-Man
kind of misdirection, thing. Right? Like you can do misdirection where someone says, "Are you in this film?" and they say no. But if you start leading people to believe, like the studio would not do that, right? Marvel's not going to say, "Okay, we kind of want to sell some extra tickets, so." If you could make people think that maybe that's going to create that's the wrong kind of response.
Be like when that it turns out he's not we were talking about earlier.
The which?
That lawsuit situation we were talking about.
Yeah.
A little while back.
It's not quite the same because it's not like flat out advertising that he's in it.
Yeah, he's just saying, they told me to stand by. Yeah, stand by. But maybe he's saying stand by, you're going to see it with everyone else. I don't
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I either way, this is really cool news. Yeah, it makes. Patrick Stewart is like an iconic Professor X.
He's
what's his name? Who played the younger version?
James McAvoy.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, Sir Patrick Stewart. He's got you beat. Sorry.
That's
hands down.
That's one of those things. Everyone talks about how are we going to, when Marvel finally does their version of X-Men, how are you going to find and cast a Wolverine that we're all on board with and we accept as a Wolverine after this amazing run that Hugh Jackman has had?
Yeah.
For me, maybe not quite the same level, but Professor X is up there. How are you going to give
and Magneto right alongside him too? Yeah.
And Magneto, yeah. Michael Fassbender was great. He was.
Yep.
But Sir Ian McKellen, it was just so good.
This might be controversial. I like Fassbender better.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like old man Magneto?
I thought Magneto I like the 90s Magneto in the comic books. Like every superhero and villain in the 90s was jacked, right?
Right.
And Ian McKellen's Magneto just seemed frail.
Well, he was meant to be part of their story was that he was the same age and had all this history with Charles.
Professor X. Yeah. And I get that. But yeah, I don't know. He just, to me, in my mind, Magneto's not a frail looking individual. And not that Ian McKellen looks frail, but I mean in comparison to Fassbender.
The man fought off
old
a
and frail. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right, moving on. Listen, I usually when I send you a trailer and I say we're going to talk about this trailer on the show, it's usually for a big upcoming property that is a follow-up to. It's like a DC trailer. It's an MCU trailer. It's a Star Wars thing. It's something that
usually
is sort of
some
in line with what
we.
Yeah, in line with what we normally talk about. And so you were surprised, as was I, sort of, that I was sending you a trailer for a dog movie, a comedy about some talking dogs.
Dog movie comedy
called Strays.
Yeah. Why?
I heard some buzz about this trailer a couple days ago, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. And then something possessed me the other night. It was last night or the night before. The night before to put it on. I think it probably like showed up in my suggested whatevers, and I was like, okay, well, I should check this out because people are talking about it and says it looks really good. Wow. Listen, I'm not a dog person. I'm not. And I'm a pretty firm believer that good comedies, good, truly bust-a-gut comedies, have pretty much almost gone the way of the dodo bird. Like, there's a lot of crap coming out in the last 10, 15 years. Not a fan of most of it. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like, for whatever reason, it doesn't land. It doesn't work for me. I watched the trailer for Strays, and pretty much from the get-go, there's a couple of lines specifically that I can't even repeat on the podcast because they're quite explicit. This trailer looks amazing to me. And it's just a trailer. So it could be a horrible movie. Could be a great trailer for a horrible movie. But if this trailer is an indication of what the film is going to be, this is a film that you and I need to sit down and watch together. This is a traditional Brady and Carl sitting with a liter of chocolate milk each, just like, I don't know. It's so, to me, this was so, and I'm not even a huge Will Ferrell fan, but something about all the ingredients in this. I can't really quote it, but it starts out and Will Ferrell's kind of like narrating the trailer, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, this is my owner. This is like, he's the best owner that's ever lived. And, and the guy's like throwing a beer can at the dog and swearing at him and stuff like that. And then he's like, and this is my favorite game. It's called Fetch and Bleep, right? And he's like, here's what happens. My owner takes me really far away from the house, throws the ball, and then drives home without me. And then when I come home with the ball, he says, bleep. And that's how I know I've won. And it's just the dog showing up. Obviously, he's like trying to ditch this dog. Yeah. And the dog shows up and the guy sees the dog and he goes, bleep. Like, I don't know. This trailer is so funny to me. Anyways, I sent it to you. We've not talked about it at all yet, so I don't know what you thought. But yeah, you saw the trailer. What'd you think?
Yeah, I was a little perturbed when I like, why is Brady adding this to the list? This isn't kind of the normal content we cover. I watched the trailer, and I don't dislike Will Ferrell, but for me, a lot of his films are very hit and miss in terms of especially his comedy.
Yeah.
This one, I think this one might work for me in terms of a Will Ferrell film. The character he's playing is kind of like a dopey, sheltered individual. A dog doesn't know the way of the world, kind of thing. So it's kind of like Elf in that way, which is a great Will Ferrell comedy. So yeah, if this was kind of elfish in terms of the tone of the film, then I think it'll be great. But then there's a few bits in the trailer that are just kind of like that low-brow humor, like easy, low-hanging fruit, pick it up off the ground, low-hanging fruit. Like there's
like the dogs humping the
dogs humping things, and it's just like, okay, you get a belly chuckle out of me maybe out of that, but it's not clever, right? It's I don't think it's that clever. But there were a few moments in the film, like when right at the beginning when he's narrating and he's talking about how great his owner is and stuff like that. And I was kind of in the last year I've seen A Dog's Purpose, which is a great dog film, and I was kind of getting A Dog's Purpose kind of vibes from it. And then when he throws the beer can at him and you get this revelation that his owner's a dick, I got like, that was really funny. And like the whole game thing,
and it kind of got me thinking.
That was really funny, right?
Do pets know?
There's a lot of potential. Yeah,
right. Like, do pets know when we're jerks to them? Like,
yeah,
or are they just like, oh man, he's throwing a beer can so I can fetch it?
Yeah, like so. Oh man, like they could do a lot of really funny stuff with this. So it'll be interesting to, it might be worth a watch.
Yeah, cool. All right, finally. And I mean that in terms of the podcast, and I also just mean that in terms of how long we've waited. During the Super Bowl, the trailer dropped for The Flash. Now, like a year and a bit ago, we got a teaser, and it wasn't, teasers in Carl's contractual has to watch the first trailer of a thing so that we can talk about it. Teasers are exempt from that because teasers, like, often it's not even like really a trailer. You can't always get the feel. Some teasers are like a minute and a half long and they feel like an actual trailer, but some teasers are like 40 seconds and it's just like, okay, audience, remember, we're making this. So the first trailer, the first actual full proper trailer for The Flash has dropped. Obviously the world has gone into this with interesting feelings. Some of us are very excited for people who we knew were returning, are now very interested and excited for people we didn't know were returning. But there is all the Ezra Miller stuff. And so that was kind of sort of a weird vibe for a lot of people going into this trailer, myself included to some extent, understanding that this film was made mostly before a lot of that stuff started happening. So it wasn't like the filmmakers weren't making this film with someone who was in the process of doing those things. They couldn't have known that these things were right around the corner. But yeah, we've heard many people say, including James Gunn, that this is one of the greatest superhero films ever made, one of the greatest comic book films made. And yes, James Gunn is the head of DC, but he also had nothing to do with making this film. And has recently crapped all over the Batgirl movie and basically said, like, yes, this film, I've seen the film and it's not releasable. It's like, it's not good. So I don't think he gains very little by promoting. In fact, it hinders him if he says, hey, this is one of the greatest comic book films ever made, and then it comes out and it turns out it's a horrible film. All that's going to do is hurt his new empire. It's going to hurt the trust that he's trying to get people to put in him, right? Because people will go, oh, James Gunn thinks that's the greatest, okay, I'm not going to go see anything he makes. It's not an exaggeration to say I've seen this trailer 10 times. It's also not an exaggeration to say that at least 9 out of those 10 times, I have had an involuntary emotional response, that I have teared up, that I have cried during this trailer. Not because of the sad moments. These are like happy chills. This is like when your body would get chills, but it's exceeding what chills are capable of expressing, and so then you start crying instead. This trailer looks amazing to me. I'm just talking about me right now. Maybe Carl thinks it's flaming dog crap. I don't know. This trailer is emotional. You get that classic Flashpoint backstory of they're asking, like, you can go anywhere, you can go to any timeline, you can do whatever. Like, why stay here? Why fight for this one? And Barry says, because this is the one where my mom is. Right? In the story of Flashpoint, that's the whole point. That's the crux of it, is that he's going back in time and he's trying to save his mom from dying when he's a kid. So you get that. You get the multiple Barry Allens because of, obviously, we're messing with timelines and we're messing with whatever. And then I liked the whole, this is my face. You stole my face. I thought that was good. I liked that. I was not, and maybe this said, again, I think that Ezra Miller's actions are deplorable. I was not put off by seeing Ezra in this role in the trailer. It didn't bother me. I was still very excited for the film. We see the return of Michael Shannon as General Zod. So
yeah,
holy
that was
crap.
That's an interesting twist on the story that they're throwing in there.
Yeah, so like when he says, like, I've wrecked the universe, like, we're going back to the beginning of the DC universe. Yeah, like, we're
a universe with no metahumans apparently.
Yes. So we see that. There's the incredible shot with the two flashes, like their heels touching in the desert, and like all the lightning and all this stuff. There we see Supergirl. We see Kara Zor-El. And she looks badass. Like, she looks really badass. Just her fighting and her even in that like full body sort of like suit that she's her Supergirl suit, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
We see Ben Affleck as not only just as Bruce Wayne at one point when he's talking to Barry, but we do see a couple action shots of Ben Affleck. We see him on like a bat cycle.
See him all suited up.
We see him all suited up. We get full Batfleck. But the moment that we need to talk about, the moment that I need to talk about, the moment that makes me cry is in the teaser. I'm assuming you never saw the teaser.
I don't think so.
Okay, so in the teaser, we just see Barry standing in the Batcave, and then we get the shot from behind, like a silhouetted shot of Michael Keaton's bat cowl. And we're just like, oh, like, because we know, right? And we hear like Michael Keaton narrates the teaser. We hear his voice. We get our first full frontal shot of Michael Keaton standing in the Batcave. It like the trailer basically stops to like zoom in this like moving forward shot as he's walking up to the railing. In like a true, like cinematography wise, it felt like the 1989 Batman type. Like it just transported you through time.
The suit's almost identical too.
It's very, very similar. Yeah, a couple minor changes, but very similar. I love that it's a one-piece cowl. I love that he still can't turn his neck. I love that. and so he walks out, and one of the Barrys drops his mug. And that was pretty much the response I had. I'm like, yep, okay, that's on point.
Yeah.
And in a sheer stroke of genius, they say, you're, and he goes, yeah, I'm Batman. And then the music, the Danny Elfman music starts. And talk about how powerful music can be, right? Like, ba, 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 ba. And he like dives off the thing with his cape open. And oh my God. Even just talking about it right now, like the hairs on my arms are standing up. And then we actually get something we've never gotten from Michael Keaton's Batman. We see Keaton suited up out in broad daylight at the end of this film. Or at the end of this trailer, right? And he goes like, Batman, what do we do? What do we do? And he goes, we try not to die. And then he like moves his arm out of the way, and there's Kara Zor-El like floating up in the air. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. This trailer. This might be, listen, because I've been thinking about this. I'm thinking about like, okay, what trailers, what reveals have we gotten? I'm thinking like the Endgame trailer, and I'm thinking like all these different trailers throughout the ages. I was thinking about the Batman versus Superman trailer, right? The whole like, tell me, do you bleed thing? Because that was pretty epic when that came out. This might be, in my opinion, maybe the greatest comic book trailer that we've ever gotten. And so I don't think it's a stretch to say that the film might be in the same kind of category. Anyways, you saw this trailer, probably much to your chagrin, but hopefully you had the same sort of, at least
I'm wishing I hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I know. As soon as Zod showed up, I was like, oh dear, that's
not even Zod, like Zod and Supergirl showing up, like immediately.
Well, we knew Supergirl was in this movie. Maybe you didn't.
I didn't.
Okay, so
I had no idea.
You saw the trailer, removing the fact that you wish you hadn't because of the things that have been revealed. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, talk about getting on a hype train. Really?
Oh my gosh.
Really good. Yeah. Oh man. It's if I wasn't on the train before, I'm definitely on the train, up in the engine room, stoking that fire, making it go faster. Can't wait to get to the terminal.
Putting Doc Brown's colored logs in so that the thing explodes and we get there faster.
I do have one gripe.
Oh, okay.
And it's not a big one, but like all of Keaton's action scenes in the trailer seemed CGI.
Well,
and it didn't seem 70. Great. Like it wasn't bad.
Well, it might not be finished.
Obvious.
Right? It's just a trailer. Quite often we see trailers with unfinished effects.
It's not the end. It's potentially not the end product. I get that. But yeah, it seemed obviously CGI where, like we've had so many Marvel films out with such great CGI, and
some of the Marvel films have like weird CGI though. Like it seems hit or miss from film to film.
They hit it more than they miss it. Like
they do. No, absolutely.
The big standout for me is like Guardians of the Galaxy. When I watch that film and Groot and Rocket, I never think twice about them being CGI.
No, you buy it.
Like, yeah, I buy it 100% that's a talking raccoon.
Hulk that's has a talking tree. Incredible.
Like, for me to then watch this and be like, oh, that's a CGI Keaton and that's a CGI Supergirl,
right? And
like
some of the Supergirl stuff wasn't horrible.
Like I would say it's passable. Like it's fine. Hopefully the end product is a little cleaner.
Even if it's not, I think when we're sitting in the theater looking up at that screen, it's not going to matter.
Potentially, yeah.
So
but even the first time I watched it, especially when he swooped down and kind of swooped up, I was like, wow, that was CG.
Yeah.
Like it didn't not look CG, which like, I guess I don't think it's impossible for them to have made it. Like they could have made it better is what I guess I'm trying to say. So
yeah.
Why it doesn't look better in this trailer, I don't know. Will it look better in final product? Hopefully. That's my only gripe. I don't think it's a big one because, like I said, even though it was noticeable, it wasn't bad.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I was watching someone online and they said something that kind of hit the nail on the head, I think. There was speculation. There was a couple of people who hopped on the internet right away, like the Reddit warriors, and because they misinterpreted something that happened in the trailer. We see Ben Affleck on a bat cycle at one point.
Right.
And
it kind of looks like.
A lot of people thought, "Oh my God, it's Christian Bale," and it's not. It looks different.
Like Christian Bale's cycle.
We clearly see later in the trailer that it's Batfleck, and we do see, like if you compare the Bat cycles, it's not Christian Bale's Bat cycle. Mm-hmm. Right, Christian Bale's Bat cycle is like one big fat tire because it came out of the tumbler, whereas the one that's in the trailer has like two front tires, blah blah blah. And we have no reason to think, and I'm leaning towards thinking he's not. But if Christian Bale makes a cameo in this film. And listen, he's not a Batman that I'm crazy about. Right? I've been very public about that. Mm-hmm. I think the Christopher Nolan films are excellent, but I don't think he's the best Batman. I think there's a lot of like diehard fans on the internet that aren't even diehard fans. They just love that trilogy because that's the cool thing to do. They're like trend followers. If Christian Bale makes a cameo in this film, you're
going to storm out of the theater.
The pop from the audience, the screams, the hoops and the hollers will be heard around the world. Like take, and these are the examples that someone else gave. Take the reveal of J. Jonah Jameson showing up at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. Right? When he shows up and everyone lost their minds, take that and throw it out the window. It is going to be, you won't be able to hear, like, hopefully if he does show up, he's on screen for a couple of seconds before any dialogue happens, because you're not going to be able to hear anything. Like, people will lose their
subtitles, please,
minds. So I don't think he is. There's no reason for us to think that he is.
Yeah, it's from the trailer at least. It just seems like two universes colliding, not anything more like what they did with Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, but we don't know. I mean, they could do it. Could be anything. Right? Yeah. George Clooney could show up. That was something that I kind of like. I was like, man, are there any, like, it'll be interesting to see if there's references in the Batcave, because it's clearly an upgraded Batcave since the last time we saw Michael Keaton. And so will there be any like references to old villains, or will we see, like, I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like, if at one point as his wife or as his love interest, or even if he's just talking about it, like, will Michelle Pfeiffer, not in the Catwoman costume, but will Michelle Pfeiffer show up as Selena Kyle? That would be incredible.
Just kind of walks down the stairs from the mansion, be like, Alfred says dinner's ready and you got to come up. Turns around and goes back up.
Oh my gosh. You know, like, because I was thinking, like, who could you pull from that canon's rogues gallery? And you wouldn't, because it's just like, there's no point in bringing a villain in.
Well, especially when you've got Zod as the primary antagonist. Like,
well, we don't know that. We don't know that he's the primary antagonist. But yeah,
change.
But yeah, I think so. I think if you're going to bring anyone in, obviously Vicky Vale's out because that fizzled. But Michelle Pfeiffer as Selena Kyle, people would lose their minds, man. They would lose their minds.
It's cool. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the news. Well, I mean, you could also, everybody chill. Just chill.
Little Mr. Freeze.
Oh my God, it's so bad. Thank you for listening to this episode of the news. Yeah, I can't wait. June cannot come soon enough is kind of where I'm at right now. Yeah.
It'll come eventually.
And then, well, we don't know.
We'll watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
World could end. Yeah, and then this week, Ant-Man and the Wasp drops.
Yep. Yeah, this weekend.
Yeah. So we got some stuff ahead of us next week to be chitty chatting about. Thank you for listening. Thank you for putting up with us. You know, our parents don't do it anymore, so it's nice to know that that someone out there cares. You know?
Yeah. Do they though? We don't see them.
Well, I mean, they listen.
Do they though? Maybe they just hit play and walk away.
I appreciate that as well. That seems like a bigger inconvenience than anything else. Like why? You care that much about our numbers that you're just like, I'm not going to listen, but I do
padding our numbers.
Sure. Yeah.
If you care, pad our numbers.
Yeah, that helps. Check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all listed below, our merch page, and also our Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can support our show. Helps us pay the bills, and it lines your pockets with a bunch of goodies. Increased voting power when Pete and I review films that we're posting votes for. We throw up 4 different options. You get to choose. You get to vote. You get to try to choose what film we're going to watch and review. And our Patreon's a great way to make your vote count for more. And also just some exclusive content, some bonus episodes that don't get launched to the general public. So yeah. Oh man, it's just that line. I gotta go watch the trailer again. It's like
I when you were first describing it, I was watching it on my laptop here, playing with the sound off, and to just kind of back on the CGI thing. I have it paused right now on a shot where Batman's about to punch the thug, and Supergirl comes in and just like annihilates him. And it looks really good, but it looks like something from a high-end video game.
Well, and you can't pull screenshots out of. You can't pull one frame out of.
Yeah. I mean, it still looks. Don't get me wrong. It looks amazing. Anyway, yeah. Michael Keaton's Batman.
He is. Yeah. When Michael Keaton said, "I'm Batman,"
yeah,
I was watching it alone the first time. I
gasp?
was sitting there by myself, and I vocally said, "You damn right you are."
Yeah, it was actually. You know what? The really nice thing about that was
what?
I could understand him. I'm Batman.